What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into my last, maybe my last mock draft for the NBA. I believe this would be my 3.0, and it's been a while since I've talked to you guys. This is a mock draft also that should have come out a lot sooner. We had it scheduled sooner. However, we kind of changed things up, how we were going. Took some time to figure out what we're going to do moving on from the live shows. It got delayed. Boom. I am coming to you a week before the draft. Like, this is coming on YouTube Thursday night, wee hours of Friday morning. Like, we are less than a week or exactly a week, depending on when you're seeing this, away from the NBA draft. Couple of things before I get into the mock, a couple announcements that I have to make to start. Number one, Friday, July 23rd, you're going to want to check out MVP Sports, the YouTube channel, because we're going to have a live Discord mock where fans from our Discord have taken control of NBA teams, and we're going to do a live NBA draft for the first round. It's going to be really fun. There's trades going on. It is going to be a great time. That is going to start at 6:30 Central Time, 6:30 Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Cannot wait. It's going to be a great time. Number two is after this comes out, like you're seeing this, like I said, either wee hours of Friday or Thursday. Also today is going to post Jake and Dave's reactions to different mocks. So we had fans send us their mock drafts. Dave and Jake reacted to those, so check those out. Hit the notification bell to get those notifications so you can see when that video goes live. And last but not least, Jake's doing a mock draft. It's coming out on Tuesday, 2 days before the draft. So make sure, yet again, hit that bell so you know when Jake's mock draft will go live as well. That will be Tuesday. But the rules for this mock draft are very simple. Also, I should say, if you want to join the Discord that I mentioned, it's free. Down below, if you want to support us, Patreon or becoming a channel member helps. But let's get into not the Discord, the mock draft. And this one's different than ones I've done before. And the reason why it is different, this is how many rounds I'm doing. I'm doing 2 rounds. This is the first, I shouldn't say it's the first time because Sean, Dave, and I used to do 2 rounds right before. But in a video setting like this, yeah, it's the first time I'm going to be talking about 60 picks in a mock draft all by my lonesome. And I apologize if this is super long. Like the last time I did a mock, it was 59 minutes on 30. Is this going to be a 2-hour mock draft for 2 rounds? I don't know. We're going to find out. But the way I do my mocks, in case you are new to them, is I'm not somebody that goes, hey, what would I do if I was the team? Like, I'm the GM. No. I put myself into the mindset of what the team is going to do. What are they thinking? I try to basically Nostradamus it and just be like, okay, all right, Weaver, what are you going to do with the first overall pick? You going with Kate or you going with JG4? I try to kind of guess where teams are going to go. I also have trades in them. With the trades, I try to do the same thing. Some of them might seem off the wall to you. However, I do have the team's best interest at heart. I will never go ahead and say, well, this team can't take this guy because I want him to go to a team 2 picks later. Nuh-uh. I am in the moment of every team going down. Hey, what would they do here? What would they do? And trying to work that out. So trades are a go. That's how I do my mock. And I just say, screw it. Without further ado, and boom, let's get into it. A little bit of a jump cut there as, I didn't have the mock draft full screen. So, boom, now it is full screened. And we're going to get right into it. The number 1 overall pick. Is it going to get traded? Is it going to be a player? Who would the go ahead and draft? It's Cade Cunningham. It's Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham's the pick. Do I have to go into why? Like, this is a team when they got the lottery pick. Okay, we're working out Cade Cunningham, and that's it. That's the only team he's working out with. Cade Cunningham's the number 1 overall pick. There's really no discussion to have it. welcome to Detroit, Cade Cunningham. Now number 2 becomes a discussion. If I would have done this earlier this month when I was originally scheduled to do this mock, I would have had somebody go here who's not going to go here. Originally, I had Evan Mobley with this pick because everything was leaning towards the Rockets taking Evan Mobley. However, as we've got closer to the draft, is it a smokescreen? Is it not a smokescreen? You don't know. The rumor mill is that they're leaning towards JG4, and this is where kind of common interest and big board come into it, where do I love Jalen Green? Yes. Do I love Evan Mobley? Yes. I love these two I shouldn't say projects, these prospects, but I think JG4 is going to be the guy for the Rockets. I think they're kind of doing a little switch. They may try to move up with their other 2 picks, so maybe it's like a, hey, we don't need to take a guard. We don't need to take a forward here because we can take a forward later if we trade up. So I've just got the Rockets taking the BPA. They're going to switch on it. They're going to go JG4 now, switching off of the Evan Mobley train. Then we get to the Cavs, and I know the Cavs are swirling with rumors about Colin Sexton. The pick, I would say that now the 3rd overall pick would be in play, because originally the news was that if JG4 is there, they're going to take JG4 and move Colin Sexton. I don't know if keeping the pick, like, okay, gung-ho keeping it, is still on the table, but I have them keeping it, and I have them taking Evan Mobley. And the reason why is Evan Mobley is pretty much, to me, a great replacement for Kevin Love. I don't think Kevin Love gets traded this offseason, but he's a great replacement. You can pair him next to Jarrett Allen. You can have Jarrett Allen at the 5. I can even play Mobley at the 4 because Mobley brings size and shot blocking, but he's very comfortable playing on the outside as well. You can use him in the pick and roll. So, like, Cleveland, I've always wanted Mobley to fall to them, but I thought the Rockets would take him. Now it kind of looks like, hey, Evan Mobley ideally could be falling to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I have him going 3. Then the Raptors and everything, like, I was listening to Jake and Dave's reaction to the mocks, and pretty much the way they're putting it that I'm going to steal is everything's chalk to this point. Everything is chalk, and Jalen Suggs is going to be the pick. Like, Kyle Lowry's out of town. Malachi Flynn is good. I think the Raptors like him more than everyone else outside of the Raptors organization. But, yeah, Jalen Suggs, he's the BPA. He's the guy there at 4. How you doing? Keep her moving. You just take Suggs and keep going. Then we get to the Magic, and originally Jonathan Kuminga was my pick. To where it's like, Jonathan Kuminga screams Orlando Magic of a project length. He just screams Orlando Magic. However, I'm buying into the rumors that the Magic are high on a certain prospect, and that certain prospect is Scotty Barnes. I think he is going to be the Patrick Williams of this draft. Yes, they both went to Florida State, but I think he's going to be the Patrick Williams of this draft, flying up draft boards, and he's probably going to be taken number 5 by the Orlando Magic. Is there a chance he goes 4? Maybe the Raptors aren't sold on Suggs, but if Barnes is there at 5 and Suggs is gone, I think Scotty Barnes is the pick for the Orlando Magic. Then that brings us to 6, and this is another kind of rumor mill, kind of seeing like, okay, what are the Thunder thinking? The Thunder have a boatload of picks. Are they going to trade to move up? Are they going to make all their picks? What are they going to do? We don't know. Kemba Walker, does he get moved on draft night? Does he get moved after draft night? There are many questions around the OKC Thunder. However, the one thing I think that they are going to do is there are guys here that would not be bad. Kuminga would be a good pick for them. Moses Moody, Jalen, like I even think Jalen Johnson would be good here. Keon Johnson, but I think the guy they're going to single in on is Bouknight, James Bouknight from UConn. And the reason why I say that is the rumors are kind of having it that the Thunder really like James Bouknight. And I feel like they have so many picks that it's like, hey, we can take a guy we really want because there could be guys later that fit needs and fit kind of where they go. They've got so many picks that it's like they can kind of go, okay, let's take the guys we think are really going to hit. We don't have to be forced into guys that we think are like, oh, we have to take him here. No, take who you want. They're going to go with James Bouknight, the 2-guard out of the Yukon Huskies. Then that brings up the number 7th pick. And with the Warriors, the interesting thing is the speculation going to be true, or is this just basically going to be last year? Last year we were like, oh, they're going to trade the pick, they're going to trade the pick, they're going to trade the pick, and then a trade never happened. Now, the rumors were that the Warriors like Andrew Wiggins. He may not be in trades. However, let's see who's actually available and what talks actually happen. And with the Warriors, I will say I have 2 trades for them that some may find crazy, but I think they're in the realm of possibility. And the first one has to do with this 7th overall pick, because they could make picks. They have picks here that would help them. If they can't find a trade partner, there are picks here that would help them. Plus, the Warriors have to decide, do we go out to trade for somebody because we have a championship window with Steph, Clay, Draymond, or do we kind of infuse some rookies in because we kind of understand that this window may be ending? That's what the Warriors' decision has to be. The trade I have, and some people are going to roll their eyes, but I will take that as it may, is I got them trading with the Toronto Raptors. I have Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, and the 7th overall pick. Moving hands going over to Toronto, and Paschall Siakam, or as I have called him in the past, Paschall C-Scam, is heading over to the Golden State Warriors. And before I make the pick for the Raptors, let me just kind of justify this trade, because there is a little bit of justification here where the Raptors, I know Raptor fans watching this may be like, nope, not going to happen. But just hear me out here. The Raptors have to make a decision this offseason. Kyle Lowry is most likely gone, either via sign and trade or leaving via free agency. Your team right now, the Raptors have to make a decision. You've been in the post Kawhi Leonard championship team. The team that you have now, Siakam, OG Anunoby, Dad Van Vliet, I think Aaron Baines is going to have to be re-signed or might have one. I think he has 1 year left. Like, the team you have currently, is it good enough to get back to where you were? Or do you have to trade a Paschall Siakam in order to get some youth? I know Andrew Wiggins isn't really youth. He'd be the veteran, but like getting a James Wiseman that's youth, getting the 7th overall pick that is youth. That is the choice that the Raptors have to make. Now, do I know for sure if they're going to go the way I am going in this mock? No, they could decide, hey, we still have championship aspirations. Last year was just a bad season, and we will be back to form next year. I really am not buying it. I think that the Raptors, hey, if it's on the table, let's go ahead. Let's get Andrew Wiggins, get James Wiseman, get the 7th overall pick. And I do that because there's a guy here that kind of, I'm not going to say resembles Paschall Siakam. It's not like I'm comparing him to Paschall, but Paschall, you got to understand, when he was drafted, was kind of in the mold of like the Giannis's, to where it's like, oh, he's a project. It's the Jonathan Isaacs, the Giannis Antetokounmpos, the Paschall Siakams of like, wow, these guys are kind of athletic freaks. They've got the physical tools. Can my team be the team to help put it all together for them? And you've got that right here in G Leaguer Jonathan Kuminga. So for me, yes, Fanspo is going to say the Warriors drafted him, but the Raptors are taking Jonathan Kuminga. So really, you're getting Wiggins, Wiseman, and Kuminga for Paschall Siakam. I think that's a good deal. You're getting, like, Andrew Wiggins can help you now. You can have Dad Van Vliet and Wiggins, 1, 2. Then if Gary Trent leaves this offseason, you're not kind of like, oh shit, we traded Norm for literally nothing. You get Wiseman, who's young. You get Kuminga, who's young. and you kind of go, hey, we can kind of compete now, but also have an influx of young talent to help this team with the future. So that's kind of my justification with this. That brings up the Magic with the Bulls pick. And with them, they're kind of happy here because they're going to take a guy like, they're going to get probably 2 great prospects, and it would be an A-plus draft for me if the Magic were to draft these guys. And I'm taking Moses Moody here. So, like, with your picks, you get Scotty Barnes, a guy that you like, a guy that's rising up draft boards. You get Moses Moody, who's got the motor, has the shot. Like, he's the guy that, like, every time I've looked at his box scores from Arkansas, you look at the box score and you go, man, Moses Moody didn't really have a good game. But then you watch the game and you go, oh no, he had a pretty good game. Like, what he does doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. So Moses Moody, I think he's a good pick for the Orlando Magic. Can add some shooting also to that team. Plus the Magic just got, like, they're in a situation of they're not aspiring to win. I don't think anyone on their team is safe. Basically, it's like, okay, whatever. We got a new image here, new coach coming in. Let's see what young talent we can kind of get here to infuse and mold because the Orlando Magic kind of, in my mind, haven't really had a vision. I know some people might disagree with that, but I just don't think they've had a for sure vision that they have needed. That then brings up the Sacramento Kings, and I think that this pick, although it is not being traded in my mock, this could be a pick that gets traded because there was a comment made by, I think it was King's president or King's owner, one of the King higher ups. And they said that this draft is all about opportunity. And basically it's just adding as many young pieces as we can. That kind of tipped me off to where, like, ooh, could they look at this and could, like, a team like the Thunder, a team like the Rockets move up, give them multiple picks. Hey, we'll give you 2 first-rounders for your 9th overall, or 2 firsts and a future first for your 9th overall. And they're like, oh, sure, we're going to get guys in this draft. 2 is better than 1, kind of quality over quantity, or quantity over quality. Yeah, quantity over quality. I didn't have the Kings making a trade here like I did the last time I had them making a pick. And I know some are going to hate this pick because they're going to say, well, you know what? This is a terrible situation for him. And I would agree, it might be not the best situation for him, but I think the Kings are going to take Jalen Johnson. They're going to look at it and they're going to go, okay, what are we doing? I don't think they're on the trade Buddy Hield bandwagon right now. They may trade Harrison Barnes, but I don't even know if they're on that bandwagon. The one thing they may know for sure is that Holmes might be gone this offseason. Like, there may be a, shit, he ain't coming back here. So they go ahead, or hey, Marvin Bagley hasn't been what we wanted. Jalen Johnson's here. Let's go ahead and take him. Now, I know there's the character concerns and how that would go with Luke Walton and this Kings team, but I think that's just the direction that the Kings are going to go. Whether you hate it or not, don't take it up with me. Take it up with the Kings, because that's where I think they are going to draft. Then the Pelicans come into play, and I have a trade with them, but I'm going to leave it till later because it does not involve, let me check. I don't think it involves it does not involve the 10th overall pick. So I'm going to leave it till later. They are making a trade though in this mock, but the Pelicans at 10, I have them going with Franz Wagner because one of the things they desperately need is shooting. Another thing they need is 3-and-D. Oh my God, Franz Wagner is that. He's a shooter. He's a 3-and-D wing. He's perfect. Like, he's a perfect fit for the Pelicans. Like, I know people are going to say Damion Muchal here. Some people may say Cory Kispert here. But Franz Wagner is exactly what you need. 3-and-D on the outside, can shoot from the outside. I love Franz Wagner. I know, like, usually I should bash him like I bash Luka Garza because he went to Michigan, and Michigan was scared to play the Illinois Fighting Illini because they knew they were going to lose like they did in Michigan. But I love Franz Wagner. I love what he brings to the table, and he would help the Pelicans out so much. that brings us to the Hornets. Last time I had them trading, I believe. This time I have them staying pat, and I have them going with the center out of Turkey. I'm going to screw up his name because I think we've been saying it wrong the whole time, kind of like a Denny Avdia kind of thing. Avdia is not the right way to say that. Alperen Segun, saying that wrong. Apologies for that. But yeah, they're going to go Segun out of Turkey. I feel like they are really like, last time I thought they were going to take a big, they took LaMelo, proved us wrong. Maybe they do that again. Maybe they take Damion Muchal, and it's like, oh, they proved us wrong again. I think they got to take a big sooner or later, and I think that Şengün could be somebody that really helps the Hornets, and I think he is at least on the Hornets' top radar and where they could go. They could also go Cory Kispert, add some shooting to that team. That would help really, really well. Like, that would help well as well. That's kind of too many wells in there. Well has now become kind of a sound. I got a Ted Lasso thing going on now. But yeah, Şengün, he's going to be a Hornet. Then we've got the Spurs, and the Spurs here, I originally went one way. Like, you looked at my 2.0, I had Kai Jones here. I thought they were going to go Kai Jones. That's the guy they're going to take. I have them kind of doing a 180, going from the front court to the back court. And the reason I have Josh Giddey going to the San Antonio Spurs is because the trade rumors. So Derek White, DeJounte Murray, both in trade rumors. I think there's a possibility both of them get moved. Part of me is crossing my fingers that the Chicago Bulls can get a trade done. I believe the trade that I've seen is like Lowry and a pick, or Lowry, Kobe, and some kind of a pick for DeJounte Murray. Cross my hands. I would love to do a sign-and trade with Lowry Markkanen to get DeJounte Murray because, you know, here, if you want our injured younger player, go ahead and take him. I'll take your point guard if you want. So that's kind of where my bias comes in. But yeah, I feel like they're shopping White, they're shopping Murray. They're going to go ahead and get the point guard of the future, and Josh Giddey is an amazing talent. He could help this team with his playmaking. So, like, yeah, that's why I see Giddey. And I was like, it was either Giddey or Damion Muchal, and I haven't been the highest on Damion Muchal. I've been higher on Josh Giddey, so that's why I had them go with Giddey. All right, another jump cut. Kind of had something going on there that kind of showed future trades that I had, so I didn't want to spoil anything. Pacers. All right, so the Pacers here, I actually have them making a trade here, and the reason why is everything I've read on the Pacers have said, if they select someone at 13, they want somebody who's going to help them immediately, not somebody that's going to kind of take some time. And there are 3 routes they could go with this pick. They could take Keon Johnson. I think he's a guy that can help them out right away, especially if they're going to keep Malcolm Brogdon around. Keon Johnson can kind of add some defense at that 2 position. If they're going to trade Brogdon, Damion Muchal, I think, is someone that can come in and help them right away. And I think Cory Kispert is someone that can help them right away. Those are the only 3 picks up here. The thing I see is them trading this pick to try to get a veteran from another team. This Pacer team knows they are in a playoff window. A rookie like a Isaiah Jackson or a Kai Jones or a Zaire Williams does not help them here. They need someone that's going to help them now. So although there's some picks that could help them now, a veteran may be the better choice for them. And what I have is the Houston Rockets making a trade with the Indiana Pacers. So I have the Rockets getting Jeremy Lamb and the 13th overall pick. I have the Pacers receiving Eric Gordon as well as the 23rd and the 24th overall picks. The reason why Lamb would have to be included in this is roster spots. You're taking on, like, basically it's Gordon Lamb switch. Like, if you just did the pick for these 3, you're taking on 3 roster spots and not losing any. This way they're swapping a roster spot and then they're just gaining an additional rookie that they can draft. And the reason why I went with this for the Pacers is Eric Gordon can help them. It's a veteran that they can add on, basically switching Gordon for Lamb. But I feel like at 23 and 24, the Pacers have a high, like, this sounds weird, but it's not, because like you got more of the upperclassmen that are down low. You have those older players that I feel like you can grab at 23, 24 and have players that can help you more right now than guys that are just going to develop. So that's why I have the Rockets moving up to 13. And with this pick, looking at who I've got Soapy's boy. Soapy's going to be happy. Isaiah Jackson is going to go to the Houston Rockets. Main reason why is trading up for a project, but somebody who can play some defense down low. You can pair him next to Christian Wood, and because they went JG4 with the number 2 pick, this means, all right, we can go ahead, take Isaiah Jackson. Now we get, instead of Mobley and then, great, we're not going to trade up for, I mean, they could have traded up for Davion Mitchell, Keon Johnson, but I like the JG4 Isaiah Jackson pairing better than Mobley and then Johnson or Mitchell at this point. So that's why I kind of planned this out with the Rockets of hey, who could we trade up for, kind of influencing the decision for JG4 with the number 2 pick. So Rockets going Isaiah Jackson at 13. Then we get to another trade, and the Warriors are on the clock, and the Warriors are going to make, like I said, another trade. And this is something where people are either going to love it or hate it. Some people may even look at it and go, Ricky, there's no way the Warriors make 2 trades, but hey, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to make things interesting. They already got Paschall Siakam. They are now going to yes, they're sacrificing some bench depth. They're trading Damion Lee. They're trading Michael Mulder. They're trading Eric Paschall and the 14th overall pick to bring in Colin Sexton. And the reason why I have this trade out there is the thing that the Warriors can allow. If they are going all in to get some veterans to help them play, Colin Sexton could be a guy, a scoring guard who they can either, you could try, I don't know if you pair him up with Steph Curry in some situations, but mainly you have it to where he is behind Steph Curry. He's running the second unit. He's that guard off the bench. And if by any means Steph's ankle comes up with some problems and you have to rest him some regular season games, Colin Sexton can kind of run the show. So that's why I kind of have that going. And plus, the Cleveland Cavaliers, I feel like they are going to trade Colin Sexton. It just, is it going to be to who? The Lakers, the Warriors, the Knicks? Somebody is going to get Colin Sexton at the end of the day. And with the Cavs here, I have them taking a guard that is going to help them better with pairing him with with Garland. I almost said Darius Beasley. I was like, no, he's on the Thunder. Garland, that's Keon Johnson. I feel like then you can play Garland at the 1, you can play Keon Johnson at the 2. Keon Johnson adds some defense, and I think it'd be a pretty nice starting lineup of Garland, Johnson, Isaac Okoro and his defense at the 3. You then have Evan Mobley at the 4 and Jarrett Allen at the 5. You got 4 out of your 5 guys are just really good at playing defense, and I look at that and I go, that'd be a really good pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Plus they kind of get some depth for their bench and get kind of some depth to round their team out with some bench players. That then brings up the Washington Wizards, and the thing the Wizards need, I harped on this last year and I think they went away from it, was defense. Now, if Isaiah Jackson was here, he'd be a good pickup for them because Thomas Bryant is pretty much their only center, but he's not there. Garuba would be a good pick, but this is kind of way too high for Usman Garuba. Gotta look at it. It's Garuba. I'm saying that right. So for me, I'm going with the best defensive guy here, and that is Jaden Springer. Going with, I know it's a guard position, not the front court, but Jaden Springer can bring some defense to them, and I like what he could bring to this Wizards team. The Wizards are kind of that team where I feel like I don't know where they're going to go. Maybe they go with Kai Jones. Maybe they go with Isaiah Jackson if he's there. Jackson obviously not on my board because he was taken by the Rockets at 13, but Wizards going with Jaden Springer. Then you have the Thunder, and I do have the Thunder making this pick, and somebody falls to them. Someone or some people out there may say, Ricky, how is this guy on your board? I'm not really high on him. My 1.0, I completely, like, the last mock draft I did, I completely forgot about this man. So, like, you got to understand, this guy isn't in the front of my mind because I liked his partner in college better than I liked him. But Damion Muchal, he's going to be a OKC Thunder. I think this is just BPA. Thunder looking at it going, how in the world did he fall to us? We're going to go ahead and take him with the 16th overall pick. How you doing? Keep her moving. Then we get to the Grizzlies. This one I kind of went back and forth on because originally I had my mock different. The player that I had going here went before to the Thunder. Then it's like, oh man, who did the Grizzlies take? Like, I heard Dave and Jake talking, oh, could you imagine if they took Sharif Cooper and Sharif next to Ja? And I was sitting there going, no, they don't need that. Don't do that. They don't need that. You have Ja Morant. And for me, I think that shooting could be something this team needs. Slow-mo is not that great at shooting. Seeing him shoot threes, there were some games where I was like, oh, he just doesn't have it. Cory Kispert, he's a better three-point shooter. Like, you take Cory Kispert here, you add that shooting to your team, and you just add some offense. I know it's not a sexy pick. Some people, Dave, might think it's a little too high at 17, because he hates Cory Kispert for some reason. But yeah, I feel like Cory Kispert would be a solid pick for the Grizzlies at 17. Then the Thunder are back on the clock, and the Thunder are going, all right, we've taken what? They took Bouknight at 6. We've taken Muchal at 16. Some people may say you got Shea, so like you're adding double guards with Shea. Guess what? Shea may not be on this team. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do and what they're going to trade. But they're going to go front court here. And because of the Thunder, they can afford to go with a project, and they're going to go with Kai Jones. Like, Kai Jones is a guy, not many are sold on him. Some are sold on the upside. Some are looking at him, and I've seen the B word thrown around with Kai Jones. I think the Thunder is a place where there's no, like, the great thing about the Thunder right now is there's no pressure put on you. You can just go there and grow. And we've seen, like, what they're able to do with guys like Hamidou Diallo. I'm not comparing Kai Jones to Hamidou Diallo, but, like, when Hamidou came in, it was like, well, he's an athletic freak, but he doesn't really have basketball skills. And then he gradually got better with OKC. I think same thing here. Take Kai Jones, you'll mold him in the OKC blue and orange kind of a mold, and you add another good pick. I liked all the picks I had in this one, but I'm biased for the Thunder. I'm biased for my own mock draft. What can I say? Then moving in, you've got the Knicks at 19, and this pick alone, we have to talk about 2 more trades that I have. So the first trade, I didn't mention it earlier because, like I said, the 10th overall pick was not involved in the trade, but I have the Pelicans making a deal with the Knicks. I know that this may be something where maybe the Knicks are making the picks on draft night, but then they get traded after the draft to the Knicks. For the sake of argument here, we're just going to act like the deal can happen on draft night for the sake of argument, but in real life, it would probably have to wait until after the draft. And that's Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball via sign and trade going over to the Knicks, and the Pelicans receive 19, 21, and 32, 2 firsts and a second. I was kind of playing around with the idea of it was either Mitch Rob, 1 first and the second, or the 2 firsts and the second. And the reason why I solidified on this deal is because the Knicks don't have, the report is the Knicks don't have a lot of roster spots. So like they have a pick later on. If they can get Alonzo Ball here, give up their 3 draft picks, like they don't have enough roster spots for all 3 of these draft picks. So they're going to at least have to trade 2 of them. I think they trade 3 of them, keep Mitchell Robinson around on this team. Then that leads me into the Pelicans making a deal. This is going to be with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Give me a second while I find this and pull it up for you guys so you guys can see the deal that I have. But it's basically the Pelicans get Malik Beasley, the Wolves get the 19th overall pick, and this is just a clean and simple Malik Beasley yet again. So they drafted Franz Wagner earlier. Now they get Malik Beasley, who's a veteran. This is a Pelicans team that may look here and go, yeah, there's not really many guys that help us right now with the team we have. Malik Beasley can help us. Like, I know some people may say, well, Ricky, you traded Lonzo Ball. Why the hell didn't you have him go with Sharif Cooper? Why didn't you have him go with Jared Butler? I think this team has more needs, and I feel like they do have 2 picks, so I may have spoiled something that I'm going to do later on. But the Wolves with this pick, it is now the Wolves selecting at 19, not the New York Knicks. Kind of changes hands from the Knicks to the Pelicans, then over to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I got them going with Jared Butler. Like, this is a pick where Minnesota is in a similar situation as the Wizards. Defense, 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 defense. They are not a good defensive team. They were one of the worst defensive teams when it came to guarding the basket. I'm taking defense here. And you got D'Angelo Russell. You play him at the 2. If you get Jared Butler to play at the 1, you're putting defense next to D'Angelo Russell. You are helping out your team. You are getting better defensively because you got the offensive pieces. So if you have to move Beasley on, another thing that's kind of a asterisk with Beasley is every report that I have read said that he's going to be okay to play day 1 of the NBA season. That's the only reason why I had this trade in there. But the Wolves at 19 take Jared Butler, add some defense to their team. Then the Hawks at 20, they take a pick that I have said over and over and over and over and over and over. I've beat it like a dead drum. And that's Chris Duarte. Like, he's everything they need. He's defense. Like, he's defense. He can shoot. He plays the 2, can play him next to Trae Young. Like, this is a classic Ricky Widmer. If Chris Duarte is there, the Hawks are running that ticket up to the podium. Chris Duarte, I really love him there at 20 for the Hawks. Then 21, this was Dallas's pick. Now the New York Knicks, like we saw, it moved hands. It is now in the hands of the New Orleans Pelicans. And drum roll, please. Sharif Cooper. This is one where I kind of gave it away early on, where people, what are you doing? Why didn't you take Sharif Cooper at 19? Well, yeah, they took him at 21. There was no fear that the Hawks or somebody was going to jump up to take Sharif Cooper. Although I am not high on Sharif, I will say maybe 21 in some minds, Dave, is a steal for the New Orleans Pelicans. And they now add Franz Wagner, Malik Beasley, and now Sharif Cooper to this Pelicans team. That makes us move to the LA Lakers. And the one thing I will say about this pick is that it is getting traded one way or another. I do not think, even if they make the pick here at 22, I don't think that the player drafted plays for the Lakers. I think it's either going to Cleveland or going somewhere else. In this case, I have them working a deal with the Detroit Pistons where they would get Cory Joseph in 2 seconds, and they would send the first round pick over to Detroit. Mainly, this is me kind of 2 things. One, I don't think the Lakers are going to be looking for veteran help. I know that the rumors are Russ is out there and Jamal Murray, even though the Jamal Murray one is more fans being ridiculous with Twitter. CP3, could he come over to play with his buddy LeBron? There's rumors everywhere, but Cory Joseph could be a good bench piece for them. Dennis Schroeder is not returning. Second rounders too, they could either trade two of them to move up. They could use those in packages as well if they need to like put one in a package with Kyle Kuzma to get some lower end veteran, because you're not going to be able to get much with Kyle Kuzma and a second. But the other hand, the Pistons, I think they are moving up to where they know they have limited roster spots. I've heard Soapy talk about it numerous times, how they have not many roster spots. I feel like they will move back up into the first round. It's just all about who's the trade partner with the Detroit Pistons in this situation. For my mock, it is the LA Lakers, and the Pistons here are going to take someone that Soapy likes. They're going to take someone that I like. They're going to take someone that Jake likes. A little known guard out of VCU who can shoot some threes, Bones Highland. He's going to be in D-Town. So basically, Detroit, through their first two picks, one trading, they're going to get Cade Cunningham and Bones Highland. I think those are two great picks for the Detroit Pistons. Then we come up to 23 and 24. And earlier on, had the Pacers trade with the Rockets. These are now in the hands of the Indiana Pacers, and now you're going to see why I had Indiana trade that 13 away in order to get these two picks, because there's a plethora of guys that I think that can help them now. Trey Mann can help them now. Cameron Thomas can help them now. Ayo Dosunmu can help them now. Josh Christopher can help them now. Trey Murphy can help them now. Miles McBride could help them now. Jeremiah Earl Robinson can help them now. Like, there are guys that can help them immediately, more so down here than they could have got at 13, based on also who, like, you got to think what players were falling and going in my mock. Some people may say Damion Muchal, but hey, two's better than one. The first one is, you know him, I love him, Ayo Dosunmu. You get him at 23, that is a great pick for me. He is somebody who you can check on my scouting video on him, can play defense, can run the point guard, can pass, can score. Shooting's got to get a little bit more consistent, but he could be a solid guard for them, even if they keep or do not keep Malcolm Brogdon. Then with the next pick, I have them going with Trey Murphy, and Trey Murphy just adding some 3-and-D to their team. Like, this is a pick that literally, when I made it for the Pacers, I looked and I went, well, the Nets could be fucked. The Jazz could be fucked. Like, these are teams that are like, wow, we would have really liked to draft him, and now we can't draft him. So Pacers taking Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois and Trey Murphy from Virginia. That brings up the Clippers, and the Clippers are going to take a guy that I've had them take before. They're going to go with Trey Mann. This is just adding a guard off the bench. Now you have Terrence Mann and Trey Mann reunited in LA. Retro, you are welcome. Retro is one of our Clippers fans in the Discord. I know he's been speaking Trey Mann into existence. So Retro, you're welcome on that one, buddy. The Clippers do get they get their man, per se. Pun definitely intended. Then we're moving on. The Nuggets at 26. This is another weird one where, like, the Nuggets in my opinion, need a guy who is going to help them now. Not a guy that, hey, we have to wait and have them develop. So I have them going with a trade, and it's with a team that's already made a trade before. I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves, they've already sent Malik Beasley away for a pick. They're going to send Josh Okogie away for a pick. So the Nuggets are going to take on Okogie, a guy who's been in the league. They can kind of work with better than a rookie and don't have to wait much for them. Like, Okogie's not anything special, but he can add something off the bench for them. Minnesota adds another draft pick, which they had 0 coming into this draft. So they add the 26th pick. And with this one, adding on to Jared Butler, I am doubling down on the defense. I went backcourt with the first one. I'm going front court with this one. Usman Garuba is definitely the pick here. And I know that they have Naz Reid, Sean Anderson's boy. Shout out to you, Sean. But Garuba here would add some defense to their team, and that is what they definitely need. Rim protector. You can have Garuba at the 5. You can have, or Cat at the 5, Garuba at the 4, Garuba at the 5, Cat at the 4. Like, you can kind of play around with rotations, and the Wolves just say, hey, we are going to add another player to add on to our defense. We went from 0 picks to 2 picks in this draft after giving our pick away to the Warriors and losing it. Then the Nets come in at 27, and I just have them very simply going with Miles McBride. They just need somebody that is going to help them now rather than later. McBride, point guard position, can kind of fill in the hole that will be left from Spencer Dinwiddie and could help them more so now than kind of like a project like Zaire Williams that I have sitting there. Some people may be mad at me that Zaire Williams is still on my board. Then the Sixers, this is kind of a toss-up for me. Christopher was in play. Cam Thomas was in play. But overall, I went with the front court, and I'm going with Jeremiah Robinson Earl. And the reason why is I just looked at the front court, and I was like, you know what? Later on in the draft, you can maybe get a guard that can help you. Right now, I'm going to go with something that's kind of a little scarce. So instead of Cam Thomas, instead of Josh Christopher, going with Robinson Earl for the Sixers. They're kind of sitting there doing this because they didn't get Bones Highland, that the Pistons kind of jumped them and took Bones Highland because he would have definitely been the pick here for them. Then the Suns, they're kind of in a situation where it's like, just please, Chris Paul, don't leave. But yeah, I'm going to take the walking bucket, the guy who can shoot threes from a great clip from the outside, give them more scoring because that's something that they could use. So it's like you got Mikal Bridges, you got Jay Crowder shooting from 3. Well, hey, guess what? We're going to have Cam Thomas shooting from 3 as well. As Jake calls him, the walking bucket for the LSU Tigers. Then at 30, we got another trade. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. We've got another trade on the market, and this one is mainly because the Jazz are sitting there and they're like, well, damn, most of the guys we were going to take are gone. They're gone. So, like, you know what? Let's kind of make a move here, and they're going to make a move with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And what's going to happen is that they're going to get 2 seconds for this year, 34, 36. They're also going to get a future second, 2023, 2024. I put 2023 down, but it's just going to be a future second for the 30th overall pick. Yet again, there's like the Jazz could use a point guard. They could use some guys who could play defense on the outside. And like, instead of taking a reach here at 30, we have some roster spots. Let's go ahead. Let's take 2 second-rounders, see, because this is in my mind, this is a very deep draft. So Thunder move up. They're going to give away 2 seconds in a future in order to kind of help the Jazz out a little bit in that regard. And this is where the fall ends. If this was a 1-round mock draft, he would have made the cut. Zaire Williams goes to the Thunder, and reason being, he's a project. Like, yet again, has fallen to this far. It's a great value for the Thunder in some people's minds, and the Thunder can go ahead and reach on projects. Like, they have that luxury. So trading 2 seconds to move up and get Zaire Williams, I think is a great value at 30, even though on a big board, I don't know if I would have Zaire Williams in my top 30. So, like, that's the difference here between a big board and a mock draft. So usually this is where I wipe my hands clean and I'm going, tell me what you think. But yeah, we're going to keep it going. Like, we got 30 more picks to get through. And right now I'm at about 50 minutes. Like, that's without the edits that I have to cut out because of the jump cuts and stuff that I have to add in. So yeah, we're creeping on that 50-minute mark after round 1. This may be an hour and a half mock draft, just letting you guys know. But yeah, the second round may not have the most explanation that the first round did. But yeah, you're talking about me. I love to talk. At 31, we've got the NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. This pick coming over from the Houston Rockets. And I just got him going with BPA. Like, you look at it, Josh Christopher's there. Like, take BPA, move on. Like, to me, there wasn't really a huge need for this team. Just anything that can add bench depth to this team helps them out. Josh Christopher, how you doing? Keep her moving. You take BPA at 31. Then the Knicks come in. Well, guess what? It ain't the Knicks. This pick was traded in the Lonzo Ball deal. So we got the Pelicans on the clock. It was originally Detroit's pick. Then it went to New York. Now it's with New Orleans. And New Orleans is going to go, I'm not even going to try to butcher his last name. They're going to go with a guy from Belgium that the Pelicans are high on. Everything that I read is that there's two guys the Pelicans are high on, Primo and Vrenz. So Vrenz here at 32, I take him because he might not be there. Like, the next pick for the Pelicans is, I'm trying to think. They've got a second at 40. They've got one also at 35, I think. So I don't think he's going to be there. Bada bing, bada boom. You take Vrenz with this pick and you just move right along. I have to actually look with these trades of what the next trade I have is. So the next one, okay, is going to be a little bit later when we get to the late 30s. So the Pelicans do have the 35th pick, which is from the Cavs. I don't know if Vrenz is really going to be there. So I went ahead and just had them take, hey, you like the guy? Take him now. Make sure you lock down their guy. Then the Magic come in, and the guy that I have them taking. So earlier on, I had them go Moses Moody. I had them go Scotty Barnes in reverse order. So in this one, I'm looking mainly the front court. Like, they have Wendell Carter. I think he's under contract for 1 or 2 more years. You've got Mo Bamba under contract for 1 more year. But are you sold on Wendell? Are you sold on Mo Bamba? I don't really know. So for me, I was thinking, hey, there's a center here that I really like. If the Knicks didn't trade their picks, he probably would have been used with one of their picks if they didn't trade for Colin Sexton. And that is going to be the center out of Utah State. I got to scroll to see where the hell Fanspo has him. But Neminas Queta, he's a guy that personally I love. Some people have him in the second round. I have him as a first round talent. He falls to the second round, in this case, gets gobbled up at 33 by the Orlando Magic. Then we have the first of 2. So this was in the deal between the Thunder and the Jazz for 34. Then 2 of the next 3 picks are going to be Jazz. We have Jazz, Pelicans, Jazz. So the Jazz at 34, they're going to take their backup point guard. And the guy they are going to take is Jason Preston out of Ohio, the Bobcat, where I've seen this guy play. He played against Illinois earlier in the season, and the way he's been described, although kind of a little ludicrous, is Jay Billis described him as like the college basketball LaMelo Ball, where I don't think he's LaMelo Ball. I'm not saying that. Don't crucify me. But he's got skills. He's like LaMelo light. Or not LaMelo light, but maybe light of LaMelo Ball, where he's a point guard. He's a point guard who can score, who can shoot from the outside. That's what you want. He's got passing. And I know that the Jazz, Jordan Clarkson, run that second unit, but like, he's really a 2 guard in my mind. And plus, when you've got Conley probably leaving, Don Mitch with his injury concerns, having another point guard is not going to hurt them. So I say go ahead, take Preston at 34. Then at 35, you have the Pelicans. this is where the Pelicans go, okay, we do not have a lot of space. And I know that it's like, okay, do we go with Primo or do we go to look for something later? And there's a team that I feel like in the realm of where they are, hey, they may take this guy. So Primo, they're going to pass on him. They're going to say, hey, we're going to hope he's there at 40 with our next pick. And they're going to take a draft and stasher. And I've got to see how low this guy is. Yeah, I'm going to take Juwan Bagarin. I hope I'm saying that right. Out of France. He's going to be the guy the Pelicans draft. And it's going to kind of be a draft and stash. He's probably going to stay over in France the next year. And we'll see if he comes over next year for the Pelicans. Then the Jazz at 36. This was the last pick of this year that was in that trade for the 30th overall. Pardon me. I'm going to have them go with a guy that I have read is high on the Jazz boards. You don't reach for him at 30. You make a trade. You get some additional ammo. You get him at, what would this be, 36. And this is going to be a guy out of Alabama, the small forward. It's going to be Herbert Jones. Herbert Jones is on quite a few people's list. Jazz are going to get him at 36 because of the trade that they made with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then you have the 37th overall pick. This is going to be, yet again, not with the Detroit Pistons. Detroit moved this pick in their deal in order to trade up to take Bones Highland with the Lakers. So this is going to be a Laker pick. And I have them going with a guy who, let's say, they don't get Colin Sexton. Because guess what? They didn't get Colin Sexton because he's in New York in my mock. I have them going with Quentin Grimes. Like, they're going to need to go with a scoring guard because guess what? Dennis Schroeder ain't there. So, like, even though this is the second round at 37 in the second round, you're getting quality picks. Like I said, this is the deepest draft I think that I've seen in a long time in the NBA. So, like, I really liked Quentin Grimes going here at 37 to the Los Angeles Lakers. Then we've got the Bulls at 38. This was a pick that I reworked my mock, and I don't know what the hell the Bulls are going to do here. Because, like, there's part of me that's like, oh, go point guard. But, like, I click on the point guards, and it's like, Daishen Nix doesn't scream out to me. David Johnson I like, but taking him up at 38 is a reach. I love Rokas Jokubaitis, but I don't know if I originally had the Bulls go with Rokas, but I was kind of swayed off of it because a guy fell in the mock by a couple picks, and what I was reading, the Bulls may go ahead and try to take a forward to play the 4 because we're going to be obviously probably losing Lauri Markkanen this offseason. They're going to go with JT Thor, a guy that some people have in their first round. And that's the thing. Guys are going to fall in this mock. Like, in the draft in general, I feel like between 22 and 30, there's so much, like, differing opinions that, like, someone's going to be a faller. Someone's going to have to fall to the second round. So, in this mock, it was JT Thor. And I feel like the Bulls, instead of reaching on a point guard, they're also, I think, going to look to, hey, we're going to try to trade for DeJounte Murray still out there. So after the draft, hey, we will send Lowry and a future pick, or Lowry, Kobe, and a pick to the Spurs in order to get DeJounte Murray, and we can go ahead and not have to take a point guard here with our pick. Then that moves us to the 39th overall pick, and this is the next trade that we have in the mock draft. And this one kind of goes along with what I said earlier. It's the Pacers and the Kings. So you got the Pacers moving up to 39. You got the Kings getting the 54th and the 60th overall picks in this draft. Kings, reason they make this trade is they are looking at it from the standpoint of, hey, I got to go ahead and get as many players as I can. I got to fill this team out because this team, like people are saying, hey, build around De'Aaron Fox. Well, the owner, president, can't remember who it is, basically said, we're going to try to get as many picks as we can. That's what I read into the comments. Whereas the Pacers, I already said it before, they're looking for guys that can help them now. They also have a limited amount of roster spots. They already took, like they traded one pick for two in the first. This time they're doing the opposite. Let's trade 2 of our seconds away to take only 1 second here. And the guy I have the Pacers taking is a guy I think that can help them right now, add something in the front court for them. And they are going to go with Jay Huff out of Virginia. We go see, man, Fanspo has Huff low. Did I pass him up and not realize it? Let's see, power forward. Man, I really wish this was easier to find some guys. There he is. Yeah, Jay Huff. So they're going to go ahead and take Jay Huff with their pick and just kind of do the thing that they opposite that they did in the first round. Instead of trading 1 for 2, they're trading 2 picks for 1. The Kings, they don't do it in the first round. They do it in the second round, kind of adding that quantity to their drafting. Then we have the Pelicans at 40, and they are so lucky they get their guy, Joshua Primo. Like I said, everything I've read is that they're high on Vrenz, they're high on Primo. They go ahead, they get Primo at 40, and Pelicans have a pretty solid draft overall. They add in Franz Wagner, they add in Malik Beasley, they add in Sharif Cooper, they get Primo, they get Vrenz. They're getting a lot of young talent and a veteran to come into their team. Then you have the Spurs, and they're taking a pick that Soapy Muffin is going to love. They're going to go ahead and take Ibu Baji, international prospect. Let's see how low Fanspo has him, out of Senegal. Baji, the reason why I have the Spurs going with this pick is in past mocks, I had them go Kai Jones. If they're going Kai Jones, they're not going to take Baji, but this is a Spurs team that is probably in the rebuild more so than the challenging for a championship like they had been many years before this one. So because they took Giddey earlier on, hey, we added the backcourt help. Let's look for front court here, adding in adding in a project in Baji, but like if they're able to work with like the Spurs, they're able to find international gems and just kind of mold them into what they want. So yet again, kind of a stereotypical Spurs pick, but I got Baji being the guy for them at, what would that be, 41. Then the Lakers with the second pick they get from the Pistons. I have them adding scoring and shooting. They're going to go with the small forward Kessler Edwards out of Pepperdine. Like I said, add some shooting, add some scoring. You add Quentin Grimes, you add Edwards to this team. You add guys that can help you. Maybe get Kyle Kuzma, get that bum off your team. That will kind of help you. So Kessler Edwards goes over to LA. Guess what? Pelicans are back on the clock, and they're just going to say, hey, we're just going to go with shooting here. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to go with Joe Wieskamp out of Iowa. How you doing? Keep her moving. And we're going to go ahead, like I said, just take shooting. It's easy as that. And move on. Then the Nets, and boy, oh boy. This is why you look at your mocks beforehand. Because the Nets here, I had them taking Jay Huff. Well, guess what, boys and girls? Jay Huff was already off the board as the Pacers took him. So I'm kind of going to pull a 180 here and say that the Nets are going to, originally I had Jay Huff. They're going to go with Day'Ron Sharpe. Basically, in my mind, take the next big that I had going, he's going to get bumped up. So it's going to be just as lazy as that. Maybe like any of the centers is where they would go, is what I was thinking. Front court help. So a Bassey, a Garza, not a Hockporty, because he might be a draft and stasher. I don't know if you go into the Hunter Dickinsons, but yeah, like a Day'Ron Sharpe, a Charles Bassey, a Luke Garza. If you go like power forward, maybe a Greg Brown could have been someone that they go with, but they're going to go with a big in Day'Ron Sharpe. Then you have the Wolves. They're going to go with, actually, I think this is a trade. This is a trade. Spoiling it for you, the Wolves are going to make a trade. I think I have one more trade after this one. I'll have to double check. But yeah, the Wolves are going to go ahead. They're going to make a trade. And they are the third veteran they are sending away for some draft capital. You've got basically the Celtics are going to trade their pick along with Tristan Thompson to the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves are going to add on the 45th overall pick as well. So with this pick, I have them going pretty much BPA from the backcourt side of things. Brandon Boston or BJ Boston, however you want to look at it, he has fallen. One of the teams that I have heard that is high on him is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I tried to work a deal with them. Here's the thing. If the Cavs can work a deal with the Knicks to send Sexton to the Knicks, he's going at 32. That's what I think. But that didn't happen in this mock because the Knicks made the deal with the Pelicans for Lonzo Ball. BJ Boston then ends up in Minnesota. So Minnesota kind of making some moves to get some draft capital in this draft for my mock. Then we have the Raptors at 46. They originally went with Day'Ron Sharpe. I'm just going to have them bump it up. And you know what? I'm sitting here, I'm kind of thinking, the thing I'm thinking about is either Luka Garza or Greg Brown. I'm actually going to go with... No, I'm going to go Luka Garza. I feel like the center over a forward is what they would really need. So I'm going to go Luka Garza. Originally, I had them go Day'Ron Sharpe, but Sharpe got moved up because of the mistake that I had in my second round, having Jay Huff twice. Then the Raptors are up again, and I have them going with Aaron Henry. So just adding front court, then adding some back court. Aaron Henry, kind of a good guard that they can match up with their second unit, because Suggs is going to play out there with Dad Van Vliet. So, I mean, you go ahead and you've got Suggs, Vliet, Wiggins at the 3, Henry coming off the bench for you guys. Then the Hawks. And this is where I'm going to have the Hawks go with, I had them go with Luka Garza because of the whole center thing. Let's see what centers I have around. I'm going to have them go, I'm not in love with the pick, but I'm going to have them go with Charles Bassey over Greg Brown. Originally I had Luka Garza just to kind of add a big to kind of play behind Clint Capella. So that's kind of the mindset here. Charles Bassey can be that guy. Then the Nets originally had them go Charles Bassey. Again, this is the Jay Huff mistake trickling down. The Nets at 49 will go with Greg Brown, and Greg Brown will be the pick for the Nets at 49. Then at 50, the 76ers, they're going to go with a guy from the G League. Jake, this is my gift to you. So don't say I never did anything for you, Jake. They're going to take Isaiah Todd out of the G League. So Isaiah Todd, he's been a guy that Jake has been harping to no end. If he's there at 50, would be a nice pick and add some offense and some shooting to the Sixers team, which they need. They need some shooting. That's what they kind of passed up with Cam Thomas, for example, in the first round when they took Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Then you've got the 51st pick, and this is where I believe my last trade comes into consideration here. And yet again, some people may look at this and say, hey, it's Ricky being a homer. But I got the Bulls trading into the second round a little bit here. They're going to send our favorite player in cash considerations along with the second round pick in 2024 over to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are a team, they might move this pick anyways because they've got limited roster spots. So I don't see them necessarily adding a guy, and they might just trade this for future assets and maybe some cash. But here, the Bulls, I have them going with a guy I teased earlier, Rokas Jokubaitis, where this is just an AK pick, where even if he doesn't come over right away, this could be a pick where it's like, oh, stay overseas. We're okay with that because we drafted you on when you do come over, and you know how AK loves some of his international prospects. Then at 52, the Pistons, I've got them going. The rumor is with their second round pick, they will probably go with a draft and stash because of how many limited spots they have on their roster for this offseason. So I have them going with Amar Salah out of Senegal. Like I said, draft and stash, stay overseas, develop there. We don't need you to come over right now. Then the Pelicans, they're going to kind of take the same approach. We don't have any more spots. Ariel Hokporty, another draft and stash that, hey, we can just draft, see how he develops, and see when he comes over. Then the Kings come into situation, and this is kind of a dual-end pick. I don't know if people would see this as good or bad, but I got them going with Matthew Hurt because here's my thinking in it. One, Holmes is gone, so double up on the bigs down low or the forwards. But two, you drafted Jalen Johnson. I don't think Jalen Johnson's problem was with players like Matthew Hurt. His problem was with Coach K and how he was being used in the offense. So the best thing to do when you have a guy that may have concerns, go ahead and bring someone they're used to. Bring someone that was on that team with them in college, so it's kind of like they're in it together. This is kind of like a psychological thing that I'm thinking about with the Kings. We'll see how the Kings do that. Then the Thunder at 55. I had them go Greg Brown because, like, I was just thinking, like, oh, you know what, he's fallen this far. But I'm just going to have them go with, let's see. You know what? Originally, I was Jericho Sims. Yeah, again, like a project. That's what I was thinking. But, like, Greg Brown was like, okay, BPA. Instead, I'm going to have Jericho Sims because he's more of a project. Then the Hornets at 56. Got them going with Scotty Lewis, who is BPA off my board. And it's like, oh my God, how did he fall this far? Then I originally had the Hornets go with Jericho Sims, but instead I'm going to have them go with Sandro, the center out of Seton Hall. So kind of keeping with what I originally was going to do. Then the Knicks draft a big that can maybe develop behind Mitchell Robinson in Ives Ponds out of Tennessee. Or, I'm sorry, a small forward. So a big. Maybe small forward, power forward. I don't know why I was thinking he was a center. But taking Ponds to add to that team, really, they don't really need him. It's just hey, we're taking what we think is the best here. Then the Nets add shooting in Austin Reeves out of Oklahoma. So they're going to add shooting with Austin Reeves. And then the Kings, they're going to take Isaiah Livers. And they're going to basically kind of triple up on that forward position. So last but not least, I do have graphics here. They're probably going to be wrong. So for the second half, I'm probably just going to read it off my spreadsheet, but going through the order, number 1, Pistons taking Cade Cunningham. Number 2, the Rockets taking JG4. 3, the Cavaliers go Evan Mobley. 4, the Raptors go Jalen Suggs. Magic at 5 taking Scotty Barnes. Thunder at 6 going with James Bouknight. 7, the Raptors go with Jonathan Kuminga. 8, 8, the Magic go with Moses Moody. Kings at 9 go Jalen Johnson. The Pelicans at 10 go with Franz Wagner. Hornets at 11 go with Sengun. The Spurs at 12 go with Josh Giddey. Rockets at 13 go with Isaiah Jackson. The Cavs at 14 are going to go with Keon Johnson. Wizards at 15 go Jaden Springer. Thunder at 16 go Davion Mitchell. 17, the Grizzlies go Corey Kispert. 18, the Thunder go with Kai Jones. 19, the Minnesota Timberwolves go with Jared Butler. 20, the Atlanta Hawks go with Chris Duarte. 21, the Pelicans go with Sharif Cooper. 22, the Pistons go with Nashawn Highland, or Bones Highland is what I usually call him. Then the Pacers at 30, 23, and 24 go Ayo Dosunmu and Trey Murphy. Clippers at 25 go Trey Mann. 26, the Wolves go with Usman Garuba. At 27, the Nets go with Miles McBride. 28, the Sixers go with Jeremiah Robinson Earl. 29, the Suns go with Cam Thomas. 30, the Thunder go with Zaire Williams. 31, the Bucks go with Josh Christopher. Pelicans at 32 going with Vrens. 33, the Magic go with Namitas Queta. 34, the Jazz go with Jason Preston. 35, the Pelicans go with Jawan Bagarin. 36, the Jazz go with Herbert Jones. 37, the Lakers go with Quentin Grimes. 38, the Bulls go with JT Thor. 39, the Pacers go with Jay Huff. 40, the Pelicans go with Joshua Primo. Then at, Then at 41, the Spurs go with Baji. Then the Lakers at 42 go Kessler Edwards. 43, the Pelicans go Joe Wieskamp. This is where everything is going to get a little bit weird, so listen to what I say, not what you see. The Nets at, 44, are going to go with Day'Ron Sharpe. The Wolves at 45 will go with BJ Boston. The Raptors will go with Luka Garza at 46. Then they will go with Aaron Henry at 47. Then the Hawks at 48 will go with Charles Bassey. The Nets at 49 go with Greg Brown. The Sixers at 50 go with Isaiah Todd. Then we have the Bulls at 51 go Rokas Jokubaitis. The Pistons go with Amar Salah at 52. Pelicans at 53 go Ariel Hokporty. The 54, the Kings go with Matthew Hurt. 55, the Thunder go with Jericho Sims. 56, Scotty Lewis is going over to the Hornets. Also, Sandro out of Seton Hall goes over there at 57. 58, Ives Pons goes over to the Knicks. Austin Reeves at 59 to the Nets. And Isaiah Livers to the Kings at 60. That is going to do it for the mock draft. So like I said, almost an hour and a half on this one. The second round kind of went a little bit quicker than the first round, but this is where you guys come in. Let me know what you think down below in that comment section. What do you like? What do you dislike? Remember, Friday, July 23rd, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have our live Discord mock draft. That will be live on our YouTube channel, so hit that sub button down below and the notification bell to get notified on that. Jake's mock draft will be coming out on Tuesday. That will be probably maybe our last mock draft. I may do one more first rounder on like Wednesday or the Thursday of. But Tuesday, Jake will have his mock draft for you guys. Dave and Jake are also doing a mailbag that they're going to be recording, I think, this weekend. Also on Friday, tomorrow, as this is probably like right after this is coming up, Jake and Dave did a reaction to other mock drafts from fans, so go ahead and check that out. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids, or you can go ahead and become a channel member. You can go ahead and be rewarded for supporting us. That's the whole thing behind the Patreon and the channel members. If you want to join the Discord free community, it's the greatest community in the universe. The people who will be picking in the Discord mock draft are coming from our community in the Discord, so go ahead, join that. Link is down below. Again, tell me what you guys think. I want to thank you guys for viewing in to this hour and 20-minute mock draft, a full 2-rounder. It was a marathon. Thank you guys for sticking around with me, but as always, have a good day, everybody.